If you wanna meet them at the front gate, you wanna make it into heaven's gates, you gotta walk up that narrow and straight. You gotta walk up that narrow and straight. If you wanna meet them at the front gate, you wanna make it into heaven's gates, you gotta walk up that narrow and straight. Yo, what up, y'all? Hey, it's been a long time, but it is your boy, Toby D. And you're tuned in to Pound for Pound. Yes, there's been a lot going on, guys, in my life. And that's part of the reason why you haven't heard from me in a while. The other thing is the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And yes, although I was rooting for the Eagles because I did not want the Patriots to win yet again, it does hurt. Plus, my wife has a friend who is a longtime Eagles fan, and her team finally has won. And the NFC East gets richer. Meanwhile, over here in the NFC South, the Falcons still don't have one. But it's real football time, guys. College football has officially started. My Georgia Bulldogs beat down Austin Peay. I ain't never even heard of them before. But anyway, 45-0. We blanked them out. And we're 1-0 there. So now we're trying to head on our way back to get back into the playoffs as the Georgia Bulldogs. And now it's time to talk about some Falcons football week 1. And how about we finally get to open up the season? That's got to be exciting for me as a Falcons fan. I don't know about y'all, but it's exciting for me because I've always wanted to be able to open up the season. And now we get that opportunity on a Thursday night. Albeit, you can't really get too detailed in implementing game plans because it's on a Thursday night. So you have to kind of treat it like other Thursday night games and have to go off basically what you've already done against an opponent that you've already played and are familiar with. Let's be honest, guys. Both of these teams are very familiar with each other, especially under Doug Peterson, who has been able to beat Dan Quinn and his team twice now. Once in the regular season in 2016, the hottest 7th overall offense in NFL history. They was able to shut them down that first game in the regular season 2016, only allowing them to score 15 points. And then you come back in the divisional round where I think we only scored 10 points. Guys, that's only 25 points in 2 games against this defense. Now I heard someone say on radio that they don't feel that the Eagles are going to be ready that first week, especially with all they have going on with them. Carson Wentz is probably not going to go. You've seen reports out there that says that he's not going to go. That Nick Foles is the guy who beat us with all of those RPOs, is going to be the guy. Now, of course, Doug Peterson has a different opinion in mind, and I heard he got very upset when asked about this because the reports that are out there are not reports. I guess he did not say publicly out of his mouth. Well, we shall see. I think it's going to be Nick Foles because you don't want to take a chance with a guy who was on his way to MVP, putting him in week 1. But it doesn't really matter. Just like I heard Deion Jones say, it doesn't matter who they play. They will be ready. The defense will be ready to go and face whomever because, Dan is going to prepare us, him and Marquand Manuel, against the schemes that Doug Peterson and his offense likes to run. Now, one of the things I do want to see, we got to shut down this run game. Guys, this team is not going to be scared of us. I don't care what anybody says that they may not be ready week 1. I do not believe it. This defense is going to be super confident under Jim Schartz, who has so far done a masterful job shutting our offense down. And it's all going to depend on us taking advantage of the windows of opportunities that we have, because we have not been able to do that when the game has called for us to do it. And unfortunately, Julio Jones, our guy who says he was not going to hold out in the offseason and stuff like that, if it came down to it, when he was interviewed, once he finally did come back to us to begin training camp, he was holding out, guys. The dude deserves his money. I'm sorry. I feel that he does deserve his money, and I don't care how many touchdowns he's had or didn't have. This guy is a difference maker, and anybody who says otherwise has got to be lying out of their teeth, because this guy keeps defenses still up at night. 29 or 30 does not matter to me. And the Eagles are definitely a defense that they have to prepare for Julio Jones. Two uncertainties for the Eagles defense this season. Going into week one, number one, you got Calvin Ridley. That's the biggest uncertainty because they know everybody else. The number two thing is unscouted looks, which both teams is probably going to have unscouted looks from an offensive side of the ball anyway. But you don't know those two things. I heard Dan Quinn said something which is very great because if we're able to do this, this is definitely going to help us have a chance to open up more windows of opportunities that we don't get a lot of against the defense, to me, led by Malcolm Jenkins and Fletcher Cox. We got to be able to get these windows of opportunities by running the ball. And Dan Quinn said this, that they got to look for ways to being able to run against this 8-man front. And it's a big 8-man front. Let's make no mistake about it. When you got guys like Graham out there and you got guys like Fletcher Cox out there, these are big guys up front. Derek Barnett, a guy that a lot of us was interested in the draft that we didn't get to draft, and he goes there and he wins the Super Bowl with his team. But we got to be ready to go out here and be able to run on this team. And I got an interesting suggestion. His name is Tevin Coleman. I heard that Tevin Coleman says he's going to get more opportunities this year as a receiver and as a running back. And this is a guy that we may not be able to pay when the offseason comes. And he might get a fat contract. Now, Thomas Dimitroff, them don't want to really put out there that they may not be able to pay him and Devontae Freeman, but he seems to be optimistic, especially with the cap going up and such things like that, that we may be able to do it. We shall see. This shall be continued in the offseason when it's time. But right now, it's real football time. And Tevin Coleman, who was having a pretty good, decent run game against this Eagles team in that divisional round, but for some reason, Sarkisian decided to get away from him, needs to get more touches in this game. And assuming the fact that Devontae Freeman, no disrespect to him, has not run at all in the preseason. So Tevin Coleman needs to get started, and we need to work Devontae Freeman in to this situation. We don't know what Devontae Freeman is going to bring. Heck, by all that matter, we don't even know what Julio Jones is going to bring because he hasn't been in OTAs or any of that off-season program. He's been hanging around with Terrell Owens, and I thought it was stupid that people would say Terrell Owens had an effect on Julio Jones' decision making about not showing up in OTAs and off-season program period. I don't believe that for one bit. I think when Julio Jones' confidence went up and stemmed from was when he showed that he could play on the biggest of stages, just like he did at Alabama, where they won championships there. And I think that's where Julio Jones' confidence went up at. You made the winning catch to put your team in position to win that Super Bowl, and they just could not capitalize, period. Of course, my confidence will go out the roof because I've not only proven to everyone else that I can play on the biggest stage out there, but I've proven to myself this is why the Falcons brought me, was to get them to this position. And that's what he has done continuously since being in the playoffs. Okay? We saw him kill San Francisco 49ers in that first half. We saw him kill Green Bay like he did on the way to the Super Bowl. And then, although he didn't have 100 yards, he made key catches to put this Falcons team in position to win that Super Bowl. And we did not do it. So that's why you have the continuous 28-3 jokes that we will never be able to live down because of that. But we're in a position now. To me, here's my key. This is a serious audition for Steve Sarkisian, in my opinion, to keep his job. Based on what he is going to be able to do against this Eagles defense that has been able to shut us down, no matter if it was Kyle Shanahan or Steve Sarkisian. And considering the fact that, to me, in my mind, those were some of the worst play callings in the last few moments of that game, leading up to us not being able to win in that divisional round against the Eagles by Julio Jones slipping, unfortunately. And normally that is one of the plays that Julio Jones would not slip on, but he did in this instance. Going into this game, Julio Jones cannot be the only window of opportunity that the Falcons have going in. And I'm hoping that all the stuff we've been hearing about Austin Hooper spending over 500 hours and walking around with Matt Ryan into clubs or to the store or to the mall or whatever case he was doing, we need that to show up on Thursday night. We need the talkings of Eric Salbert in his second year as a tight end to show up on Thursday night. Guys, ladies, Mohamed Sanu, as good of a player as he is, we need him to show up on Thursday night. There has to be more windows of opportunities for the Falcons. Otherwise, if you don't have those windows of opportunities and you miss on the ones that are open, we're going to have problems like we've had the last 2 times we have met this Eagles team. And that cannot happen in this game. This is a huge game for Steve Sarkisian. And it's a huge game for these guys. Now, what I did like in the preseason, and I'm not talking much about it, is the fact that the Falcons defense was causing turnovers. And that we need to continue going into this regular season. You got some tough games. They showed it, guys, on, I think, the last preseason game, the first 7 games. We got some high-powered offenses that we are going to have to face these first 7 games. And I'm not scared of this offense at all, especially if Carson Wentz is not playing and Alshon Jeffries is not going to be on the field. This team does not scare me, but now I tell you now, a small scary thing that I can say is these tight ends that they have. And I don't remember the tight end that they drafted that they snuck up over the Dallas Cowboys to get, but this guy looked pretty good in the preseason. Some of you who know his name, type that in because I don't remember his name, but I do remember he looked pretty good. And you already got other tight ends on that offense that could be scary for our safeties out there. And cornerbacks, for that matter, if we happen to match up on them. We got to be ready. I don't know what Jay Ajayi is going to bring against us. But however the case, we have to be ready to shut this run game down and be able to run this football on this defense. We cannot be scared to do that. And those are things that I want to see. I want to see Calvin Ridley show out. Unfortunately, Taylor Gabriel could not do so. He was shut down, period. And with as masterful as Calvin Ridley already coming into the league is on running these routes, we know he can get open. Now we need him to catch the ball because drops was a knock on him, and everybody knows, it's no big secret, we dropped a lot of balls. We dropped a lot of balls in this preseason game and these games we had in preseason and last year. We cannot afford to do that on Thursday night. This is huge right here. If both teams make it to the playoffs at the end, this could be a huge deciding factor on who plays where. And we need this win. Now, this is not a situation for me to where I want to see us lose this game. Now, a lot of people say, well, it's not the end of the world if you lose this game, but it could have a huge effect on how we move the rest of this season and our mentality going through the rest of the season. Especially when you're in a division where 3 teams made it out of our division to get into the playoffs. Although one team got taken out 3 times by the same team, New Orleans Saints beating the Carolina Panthers 3 times, 2 times in the regular season and 1 time in the playoffs. This is a huge game. We take the stage first, and everyone in our division will be watching us to see where we're going. We can either cause them to relax and be ready to play on Sunday, or we win this game. We can put some, this team might be the one we have to beat to win this division into them when they play on Sunday. And I don't know about y'all, but I want to be able to get this W and to be able to watch the other games on Sunday. Like, hey, we're 1-0 in the division. You guys turn now. Hey, let me know how y'all feel about that. You know what I'm saying? Leave comments. Please like and share. Look, I can't guarantee you how much I'm going to be back. I don't really know. Like I said, there's a lot going on. And anyone who listens to me, even if it's just one of you at this point, I told y'all before, it's not about the views. If I do this, it's because I love it. And I do love my Falcons, although I have been sad lately with a lot of things going on, including my Atlanta Falcons not being able to win a Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I've been a fan a long time. And I'm going to continue being a fan until I can't breathe anymore or the rapture happens and I'm still alive when the Lord comes and get me. But I am excited about this team this year. I think we have a great roster and we're able to handle whatever comes our way. But other than that, I'm not going to get too deep into all this and that. I'm going to let you guys talk about what you feel is going to happen. Please leave comments below, likes, shares, and subscribe, if it's in your heart to do so. Other than that, I've said all I wanted to say about it. Hey, Falcons football, rise up. Again, it's Toby D. Shout out to JR, who's handling things and stuff like that. I'm out. Pound for pound. Peace.